What's up, A to Z Sports here live on a Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday A to Z Sports here on the show. We're at the time of year where the weekday doesn't matter. So it doesn't, I don't know, who knows, right? But we're here to talk about Cam Ward. And an ESPN analyst is doubling down on his Cam Ward prediction and conviction on the Titans' new quarterback, the new franchise quarterback. Louis Riddick of ESPN joined Buck Rising on 104.5 The Zone yesterday. If you did not hear it live or go back and listen to it later, I suggest you listen to it in its entirety. We have about 6 minutes broken up into two different parts from that nearly 20-minute conversation that Louis Riddick had with Buck yesterday. It's very good. Very, very good. And there's a lot of different layers to the video we're going to play from that. We're going to have, I'm sure, a follow-up conversation to dive deeper into a couple of different things that Louis Riddick said about the Titans team building with Mike Borgonzi and where Borgonzi's come from. But Louis Riddick has been one of the bigger names that has been all in on Cam Ward from early draft stage, before the Titans were even convicted themselves on drafting Cam Ward. So Easton, we're going to have a good show today. It's a Wednesday, which means it's our first chance at not screwing up trivia for the week. We'll see how that goes. But welcome in. Let's get this thing off and rolling.
Yeah, good morning, Austin. Good morning to everyone in the chat. Hope everybody's having a great start to your day. Hosted Primetime last night. That was fun. If folks missed that, I'll be going Tuesdays from now on, I think, from now until I die. I don't know what forever, I think, is the plan.
Yep, that's the plan.
So that'll be fun every Tuesday for the rest of my life. Check out those. It's going to be a good show today. Looking forward to talking about this conversation that we heard from Louis Riddick on 104.5. Obviously, Louis Riddick is very good at this and is one of the, I think it's fair to say he's one of the champions of Cam Ward in the national media, of which there are not too many. So he had some things to say that we want to break down, and we are going to do all of that once you like the show. That is all we're waiting on this morning, is that like button on Facebook, on YouTube. I see the number right now on my screen. Clearly, some folks have forgotten the process here because we need to hit that like button this morning. So like the show if you're on Facebook, like the show if you're on YouTube, and then jump in the comments with Robbie and Edward, Andrew, Jesse, Jeremy, Chris, Curtis, Swan, Top Tier, Cam Ward's Burner. Some familiar faces. Good morning to you all. Join them in the comment section. We want to hear your thoughts on today's conversation. Get your thoughts on what Louis Riddick had to say yesterday. Austin, let's get it started.
Yeah, you and Sam always said that if you didn't have enough likes, you'd get fired. Well, Sam's no longer here, so I mean,
I'm not saying there's correlation there, but I'm not saying there's not correlation. The people are asking.
Oh man. Anyway,
if I suddenly, it's like in movies where it's like, if I die, it wasn't a suicide. If I suddenly turn up fired, you people know what happened.
Yes,
it's your fault.
If Easton goes to cover the Chicago Cubs, then you know exactly what's going on. No, I'm kidding. Joking. So let's get it going officially here. Welcome in A to Z Sports live on a Wednesday. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Easton Freeze, our Titan reporter for A to Z Sports.com. And we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Also, 5-star Google reviews. I've got more to read, Easton. As soon as I see these things come in on my morning email checks, and if I see a couple new ones, then I might read them on the show. So we might do that here in a second. But also got to thank our sponsors. They make it happen for us, and they help out all of you. Wilson County Hyundai. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go. Make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon online, WilsonCountyHyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org. The region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. And our friends at Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. They're also local, which is a big deal. Local and online at BartonDrury.com. So you brought up Cam Ward champions of Cam Ward in the national media. I'm gonna
let's rank Cam Ward champions in the national media.
Honestly, there's not many to rank, so it wouldn't take very long.
I have three in my head. I think it's
okay. So hold on to those for a second, because I did want to find my new Google ratings, because we had 3 that came in since the last show.
Wow.
Big G, 5-star. Been watching these guys since 2019. Best way to hear about the Titans since mainstream doesn't even think twice about my guys. Sean K comes in. 5 stars. Love the Titans talk, but I think Buck needs to be drug tested because he said A.J. Brown is better than Justin Jefferson yesterday.
Well, test me too, because I think he is as well.
I mean,
so I think A.J. Brown's the best receiver in the league. So
Dustin, 5-star Google review. A to Z is a great watch. Watch show every morning. I gain knowledge. Really starting to watch the morning shows back in January. Always watch the content, but really want to be more knowledgeable about the team since he makes content on TikTok. So Dustin's a big TikTok guy. So I wanted to be more informed, and you guys definitely do that. How about this? He goes name by name. Austin is awesome. Easton is Dustin's GOAT. Ryan is great too. And Zach is cool and all. Great place to get knowledge about knowledgeable people. Excuse me. Love you guys. I want to ask a question. Who is my favorite underrated Titans? That I always want to say, Dustin, great comment. There was 0 punctuation in that entire thing I just read. It is all one sentence, no commas, no periods, no nothing. So that's why I had trouble reading that. So it was kind of wild. But we'll save
Zach
my
is
underrated
cool and
Titan.
all. I agree. That's a good point. Yeah.
Zach is cool and all. Hilarious. But no, we'll save the underrated Titan conversation for something later on. But you had 3 national media champions of Cam Ward.
I can only think of 3 off the top of my head.
I know 2. The third, I don't know who that's. It's Kyle Brandt, NFL Network, Louis Riddick, ESPN. Who's your third?
There's another ESPN. Kevin Clark is a massive Cam Ward guy.
Todd McShay? Does Todd McShay count?
Well, so I know
Todd McShay loves the Titans draft.
He loves the draft. I'm trying to, because I listened to his podcast religiously during draft season, and he never struck me as like an over the top Cam Ward guy. He agreed that Cam was the top quarterback, but it wasn't like, I mean, Kevin is the least known of the 3 people we've named, but he has been on the Cam Ward, this guy's incredible train for longer. Now it's cheating kind of because he's a Miami alum. And so he's just a massive Miami guy. So at first it was like homerism that turned into, wait, this guy's actually really good at football. But he's been making the Cam Ward, Patrick Mahomes comparisons since like September. So,
well, there you go. And people bring it up in the comments. Nick says, Chris Sims, Darius, new father, Darius. Congratulations.
Congrats, Darius.
Day 2.5, morning 2, maybe, of Darius and his new baby with his wife. Hope everybody's doing well. But yeah, Chris Sims is another champion of Cam Ward.
That's true. I spoke to Sims at the combine about this, and he hadn't watched them yet. So you're late to the game. You got to be on it earlier than that. He didn't become a Cam Ward champion until like late March.
Yeah, well, it depends on your job though, right? Like Kevin Clark was early on Cam Ward because he just happened to be at Miami.
No,
right?
I know. I'm just saying. If you either have to be outrageous and say it with your chest, or you got to be early. That's how.
Yeah,
that's
but Chris Sims' job
criteria.
isn't to break down the draft until like peak draft season. So that's not how his role is set up.
I know,
right?
but
Louis Riddick isn't.
It's too late.
And we're about to dive into Louis Riddick. The reason why he is championing Cam Ward because he calls college football games for ESPN and has done, I think 3. He mentioned Cam Ward games in the last 2 seasons of his college career. So let's jump in to Louis Riddick on Cam Ward. This is from the Buck Rising show on 104.5 The Zone yesterday. I thought this was a really good entire conversation. So I would suggest you watch the entire 19-ish minutes of it. But here is Louis Riddick kind of resetting and doubling down on the Patrick Mahomes comparison of Cam Ward and really what it means to be a Patrick Mahomes comparison and what makes Cam Ward.
From a stylistic standpoint, Cam has a lot of things that look very similar to the way Patrick likes to play the game. Patrick always described it as being like he's playing baseball, like he's just throwing the ball to first base. And that's why his feet sometimes are parallel. The ball sometimes comes out sidearm, 3/4 sidearm. It's a little unorthodox as far as how quarterback traditionally was played. Well, Cam Ward does the same thing. He can do the same types of things. He has very similar arm horsepower to Patrick. He just does. I've seen it up close in person, both of them, so I know. So I'm speaking from experience. When did I start feeling as though he had special qualities? I think it was I saw him in Pullman 2 years ago against Wisconsin early in the season. Then I got to see him play twice just this past year and got to go down to his pro day too and got to know Mario Cristobal and Shannon Dawson, his offensive coordinator, and And they really walked me through the transition that he went through when he transferred from Washington State down to Coral Gables, and how from day one, he just kind of took over. Now, I saw that and heard about that when I was up at Washington State, but he took it to a whole new level as far as his leadership, which is really the special sauce with him, which is really the special sauce with all these quarterbacks who are in the upper tier. It's not just their own individual talent. It's the way in which they raise the level of everyone else because of how good they are and what they demand. And they don't ask people to do anything that they're not willing to commit themselves to doing as far as committing to the process. And that's what Cam's all about. You heard his parting words when I guess he left OTAs about what he said he was going to do.
I was there. Yeah.
I mean, that's perfect. And that's how he was at Miami. And that's why he had one of the great seasons in Miami history as far as throwing the football. And that's why he raised the level of all the offensive players around him. Had Miami had anything close to resembling a competent defense, Miami would have been in the playoff picture and maybe in the national title hunt because of the way they could move the ball offensively, primarily because of Cam. He's exactly what Tennessee needs. That's the kind of personality at that position that Tennessee needs. That's the kind of skill set that Tennessee needs to take that offense and really level it up. He comes from a great family, super supportive people, super nice people, and he is just uniquely zeroed in on trying to be the best damn quarterback he can be. And that's it. That's all he cares about. Why wouldn't everybody in Tennessee go and put their arms around him and go, just lead us, man. We're going to ride your coattails. That's exactly what you want, and he's built for it. He's just simply built for it. I'm as convicted on this young man in terms of his makeup as any, whether it was Jaden Daniels last year or C.J. Stroud the year before. I'm very much so Team Cam Ward.
Team Cam Ward. Louis Riddick, as convicted about Cam Ward as he was Jaden Daniels last year, not the number 1 overall pick. C.J. Stroud the year before, not the number 1 overall pick. So Cam Ward is in that group for Louis Riddick. And the makeup of everything, we've talked a lot since we knew Cam Ward was going to be the pick. I don't know, mid-March, early March. You kind of felt it at the end of the combine in February. But really, the last few months, that's what we've been talking about, the makeup of Cam Ward. And we've seen it now in person a few times throughout these spring practices. But so Jeff asked, what's the prediction? The prediction of the fact that Cam Ward is in the Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud grouping for Louis Riddick. And so I just see a lot of mic drops coming in here from you guys are all on the same page with this the mic drops going on right now.
Austin, it's the Cam Ward thing.
No, I know, but
okay.
I know that, but damn,
it's all people want to do with Cam. You mentioned Cam Ward, and it's right to this. It's just 6 people just bang right there in a row on YouTube. So here's what we want to do with this. We're gonna put up a YouTube poll. How much weight does Louis Riddick's strong conviction on Cam Ward hold to you? The 4 options are all the weight, all the weight in the world, right? All the weight.
All the weight.
To quote Giles Corey, more weight. Let me know in the chat if you get that one.
All the weight, a lot of weight, little weight, or none. How much weight does Louis Riddick's strong conviction on Cam Ward mean to you? All the weight, a lot, little, or none of the weight right there. So we'll get to your comments and all of our reaction on that from Louis Riddick here in a moment. But I want to tell you guys about our great friends at Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. I've been telling this story now for a few months. This time a year ago, man, shopping for insurance and benefits for your employees is a task that I don't want to have to do it again. But Zach and I were doing that around this time last year, and we did end up finding the Barton Drury Insurance Group, and we decided these guys are where we should go. And that's exactly what we did. So looking for health coverage for our employees, we got that as well. Workers' comp too, but they do way more than that. They just help out us on the employer side. They also have 401k planning, life insurance, which is very important, liability, auto, property, umbrella, and the all-important surety bond whenever that comes into play. But Barton Drury Insurance is local to Nashville. They are big sports fans. They like the Titans. They follow it just like you guys do. They strive to provide excellent service because they want to make sure that they take the time with you to make sure that you understand the insurance policies that you need and that you have. So make sure when you need somebody you can trust for your insurance needs, you go to bartondrury.com.
There is so much more to say. Oh, and by the way, I did a Reddit AMA yesterday on the Titans subreddit, which was a lot of fun. And one of you people asked me what a surety bond was, which I really appreciated.
Nice. You get the show.
Yeah, man. Making that your one question is just perfect. I love it.
Fantastic.
We have a lot more to say, but first, make sure you have liked the show and make sure you have left a 5-star Google review for us. We appreciate those. And as Austin said, it is a joy. It brings unfettered happiness into our life when we see that update that we have a new Google review to read from you people. So let us know your thoughts over there on Google in the form of a 5-star review.
All right. So the question here, and Easton also new to the chat, how much weight does Louis Riddick's conviction on Cam Ward hold to you? I just put up the YouTube poll, so but we'll read chats here too. All of the weight, all of it. Like you're like, yep, that's it. I'm in. A lot of weight, little weight, or none. So Louis Riddick specifically. So what are you seeing from the chat here, Easton?
JJ says a lot of weight. James says Cam has not played a snap in the regular season, so let's calm down.
Yeah, Darren also says so much glazing.
It's true. When you're the
number one overall pick, what do you want us like?
He's the number one overall pick, folks.
He's the number one overall pick, and Louis Riddick is a NFL analyst and talent evaluator by trade. I mean, so what is he doing? He's evaluating the talent. That's his job, and he comes out and talks about who he thinks is going to be good, who he thinks is not going to be as good. And everything's on tape, right? Just like just the football players, everything these guys can say or we say are on tape. You can go back and tape don't lie. Big Brother's always watching. The internet doesn't forget all this stuff. And so, when Louis Riddick says that he's in the same category of CJ Stroud and Jaden Daniels the last couple of drafts, that's interesting, right? So all the weight, a lot of weight, little weight, none.
Duran says little weight. Scott says a lot. Cap says a little. Ira says absolutely none, as does JM. So we're all over the place. A lot of weight, little weight, none. A lot of weight, little weight. Big show weight, a lot of weight. Chris Jump points out that Louis Riddick was always also really high on Jared Stidham. Yeah, every analyst has been high on a bad quarterback. This is not news. Boston Diamond says none. He still hasn't played it down yet. Curtis says little, but happy to hear it. Little, lot, little. So, I mean, it was literally random in the chat. There does not seem to be a trend whatsoever. Ben says specifically 25 pounds worth of weight. So you can determine whether that is a lot, a little, or none at all.
How much is 25 pounds weight to you? Well, it depends on the context.
Yeah. Like, it depends on the exercise, right? Like if we're doing a bench press, it's nothing. If you're doing
roughly how much does your nearly approaching 1-year-old daughter weigh?
Not that. She weighs like 18, 19 pounds, I think. So
yeah. So that would be a lot. It'd be a lot of weight.
It'd be more than 100% of her weight. Exactly.
Yeah. Keep on. You get any more comments?
I mean, it's all the same. It's random. I'm looking for a trend here in the comments, and it is all over the place.
So YouTube poll is only 2 minutes old. We'll continue to let the votes fly in so we get like better, consistent data. I'm going to play the tail end of what Louis Riddick said again about Cam Ward, and then Easton, you and I can go into our opinions on the poll, which is how much weight does this hold for you? Louis Riddick's conviction on Cam Ward, all, a lot, little, or none?
He's exactly what Tennessee needs. That's the kind of personality at that position that Tennessee needs. That's the kind of skill set that Tennessee needs to take that offense and really level it up. He comes from a great family, super supportive people, super nice people. And he is just uniquely zeroed in on trying to be the best damn quarterback he can be. And that's it. That's all he cares about. why wouldn't everybody in Tennessee go and put their arms around him and go, just lead us, man. We're going to ride your coattails. That's exactly what you want, and he's built for it. He's just simply built for it. I'm as convicted on this young man in terms of his makeup as any, whether it was Jaden Daniels last year or CJ Stroud the year before. I'm very much so Team Cam Ward.
Team Cam Ward right there. So NB asked a question to us, Easton. You guys need to define more of hold more weight of what that means.
Okay.
I think it's just like a comparison. Like, how much does that matter to you?
Correct.
Right? Like, that's what it means. I guess I thought it was fairly self-explanatory, but how much does it matter to you coming from Louis Riddick?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to know, because, you know, the guy down the street working at your local sub shop can be like, Cam Ward's going to bring him back, baby. Right? Like we got a guy, Craig Smith, one of our writers, does a great job with our college football and NFL coverage. He has a Miami law degree hanging on his wall. And he's like, Cam Ward's going to be it, guys. Like, right. But what does that mean from Craig? Like,
yeah, you don't say
Craig's great. Craig's not Louis Riddick. Craig's a Miami fan. Louis Riddick is a former scout who does this on television. And Kevin Clark, right? Miami grad, super biased in the beginning, but now he might be just right. And
still is super biased, but you can be biased and right.
But I think that's where you can be biased, but also be right. And just because if they go to your school, that just means that you actually have more exposure to them, right? Like, yeah, it works both ways. I think Joe Milton sucks at playing quarterback. Why? Because he went to my school. I watched him way too much. And
I was about to say, it's so opposite the other way, right? Yeah. Like, if you love your guy, I'm like, all right, whatever, man. But if you're a diehard fan of the team and you're like, this guy blows, people don't know
Joe Milton is an NFL quarterback. I put
all the weight into that.
Joe Milton's an NFL quarterback Ponzi scheme. Somehow it just keeps going up. He keeps improving his situation. He's not very good at it. Joe's a great guy. Nothing against him. And Bork says he can do a backflip and throw the football a quarter mile. Absolutely. Over the mountains. But he can't play quarterback. So I know that because I was exposed to Joe Milton. Craig Smith from A to Z and Kevin Clark from ESPN know Cam Ward because they went to Miami and have been exposed to it. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's all about what does it matter? What does it mean coming from Louis Riddick, ESPN college football, NFL, and draft analyst who was a scout in the NFL for several years, played in the NFL, all these things, right? An NFL lifer for Louis Riddick, a draft lifer for Louis Riddick. So, Easton, what is your answer? All of the weight, a lot of weight, little weight, or none from Louis Riddick?
It's it's somewhere in between a lot and a little. It's like a medium weight for me. Here's what I want to talk about. Not to be dismissive of Lewis in particular, but his thoughts on this, his contribution to the Cam Ward conversation is a part of the whole for me. That I've kind of been talking about this since March, maybe a little bit before. But every person that I have talked to the past couple of months that has had some kind of intimate relationship or interaction or viewing experience of Cam Ward, somebody that has been a part of it, right? Whether they're calling games or have coached him or are great friends with the people who coached him or were teammates of his, like people that were around it. First and secondhand sources, maybe the way I should put it. Mm-hmm. They all talk about him in a way that is different than how I am used to hearing people talk about quarterbacks that they have proximity to. And I'm not going to act like I've been doing this a long time. I've literally not been doing this a long time. By comparison to somebody like Louis Riddick, it's not possible for me to have been doing this a long time yet. I have been doing this for multiple years, and I've been covering the draft for 3 or 4 years now. And so I've had conversations and exposure to people in these positions now for a couple of years. And so I have had these kinds of conversations on, let's say, somewhere between a dozen and 2 dozen high level quarterbacks in the draft, right? Let's call it 15 guys that are first, second round potential prospects that we talk a ton about. And I've talked to these people, again, teammates, coaches, analysts, people that know the situation. And typically when a guy just loves a prospect, when you're talking to a guy about my guy, right? Like, oh, this is my guy. The way that they talk about them is glowing in a football sense. And it's like, he does this so well, and this is his superpower on the field. And like, it's from a scouting standpoint, first and foremost, right? What makes the Cam Ward conversation so different, and it's something that just every conversation like this that I've had, I have walked away thinking about this thing and trying to figure out how much weight I give this thing, is they all talk about him like, I don't know, I don't want to be hyperbolic, but like he's this messianic football figure where there's something, it's an it factor thing, right? It's the fact it's like you talking to somebody after they saw a ghost, where it's like they are entranced by whatever they have seen, and they can't quite explain whatever they have seen, and they believe so wholeheartedly in what they saw. It's like they saw something with their own eyes that they can't help but want to evangelize about to everybody else, and they are more rabidly passionate about trying to convince you about this guy Cam Ward than somebody that was like a huge fan of CJ Stroud at Ohio State. Like it's the same, but it's different. I hope I'm making some sense here.
Yeah, you are. And
there's something about the impact that he has. I'll put it this way to kind of put a bow on it. The impact that Cam Ward has had on the people that have had proximity to him in college is different from the impact that these other top flight quarterbacks, first, second, third overall pick quarterbacks, have had on the same people with the same proximity that I've talked to. And it's impossible for me not to notice that. It's been months now of me noticing that. And it's impossible for me to not put pretty significant weight into that, because it feels like they have seen something that we have coming down the pike that we haven't seen yet, but it's exciting.
I'm going to say something that's probably going to offend some portion of Titans fans, but Cam Ward has the type of it factor that you would hear about Vince Young, but Cam Ward works hard.
Oh,
but I also don't think.
I mean, yes,
right, because it's not. It's not conventional, right? Like Vince Young wasn't conventional. Cam Ward's not conventional. All the sidearm throws, the Patrick Mahomes comparison, where you're just throwing the ball to first base, like it's sidearm, it's goofy, it's not, your feet aren't always set, but that's what it is. Like he has the it factor that you can't actually put your hands on, but he's also got this drive and this aura about him that you also can't put your hands on, and so you're just saying a bunch of like motivational speaker stuff on social media things about him, and it sounds great, but there is like a legend of Cam Ward about how people talk about him, right? He's got like Bo Jackson stories. You know, if you go back and listen to people that were around Auburn when Bo Jackson was there, everybody has like a Bo Jackson story. They're like, no way, he didn't do that. Like, there's no way. No, you're lying. You made that up. But like
he's a tall tale figure. Like he's
yes.
He is. Here's the thing that I want to point out to people, because like J. Rome in the comments saying, so we got football Jesus Easton. Like what I'm trying to say is maybe I am. Don't clip that. Don't clip that. What I'm trying to say is, it's like, I don't know. I feel like a not to be too biblical, but I feel like a doubter in the Bible, where it's like I'm writing about my experience from a reporting standpoint. And it's like, I'm not saying that this Jesus guy is all he's cracked up to be, but I am saying I'm seeing some stuff and I'm hearing some stuff that's making me wonder. It's making me wonder, right? And it's like, so I'm not saying that Cam Ward is going to be all that in a bag of chips the way that some of these guys like Louis Riddick is saying.
Yeah.
He might not be. I am fully admitting that he might end up being bad at football and it might not work, because that's the nature of the NFL. But what I am saying is that these people that have the most experience and proximity to him are almost supernaturally convinced, it seems, that he is going to work. And that is impossible to ignore when you've been doing this as long as I have for many years.
Totally. So I guess I didn't see a comment. I had to bring this up. Wait. I missed it. Hold on. So the comment was, Easton, you've been riding the fence. Which one are you going to pick? Because you said middleweight.
I'll say big weight, because it's a part of the whole that I explained, and that whole thing that Louis Riddick is contributing to is a big deal to me. I think pretty obviously, because I'm very passionate about it.
Yeah. So you're going with a lot of the weight,
not
all the weight, but
not all. No,
but a lot, because you're piecing these things together. So I'm actually going to say all the weight.
No,
because
explain that.
It's because of how Louis Riddick continues to go after this.
Right.
Louis, I don't think there's another national media member who is tweeting more things about Cam Ward, like from an analysis standpoint, tweets more things that pop off about Cam Ward than Louis Riddick. Like, Louis Riddick's job description is not to tweet. He's an analyst on television, on games, and in studios. Like, tweeting is like what Louis does on his own, but like, he's going out on his own and be like, Cam Ward is this guy. Cam Ward's going to be this and that and all that. He's the guy, exactly what Tennessee needs. Like, Louis Riddick is sticking his neck out so far.
This is a good point
for Cam Ward. So far.
And you know what? You've kind of helped me identify. This is a big part. This may be all of why it's such a thing that's sticking in my brain with him and with all these people that have proximity. Because with him, with guys like Kevin Clark, with these people that I can't name, that are behind the scenes, that are high level power players, a lot of what we do is trying to identify motivations, right? And whether you're in sports media or political media or pop culture, like we're trying to get to the bottom of why does it behoove this person to do the thing that they're doing? Yeah. And every once in a while you see somebody like, a high level person in Congress or something that's really sticking their neck out for something. It's like, I don't know why they're like staking their whole claim to that. Like, why are they putting all their eggs in this one basket? Mm-hmm. And it's so strange that you're like, they must know something that I don't. You know what I mean? They have
like money involved in the success of something.
Right. But when it comes to sports, when somebody is, because we like from a being politically savvy in sports media, which a lot of people are, not to get too inside baseball, but it's like a lot of people hedge their bets when it comes to takes, right? And you leave yourself an out, and it's like, it's not smart to paint yourself into a corner, and you never want to go so hard on one thing that if it ends up being wrong, you're known forever as the guy that was, this is you are the Paxton Lynch guy or whatever it is. And so when somebody that I know knows how to play this game, like Louis Riddick or Kevin Clark, they've been doing it a long time. They know the risks of becoming the so-and-so guy.
Yeah.
When they just say, I don't care. Like, I'm willing to be that guy. Eyes wide open. I'm gonna plant every flag I have and put every egg I have into this basket. You notice it, because it's like, that's not smart on paper unless you're right. It's not smart.
Because there's no reason to do it. Like, he didn't have to. Like the title of the show is he's doubling down on this bold Cam Ward prediction.
The risk reward is bad. It's a bad proposition.
It's terrible. It's right. So dumb. Like I bet Mel Kiper Jr. thinks about Jimmy Clausen way too much in his life, because he's like, God, I bet Mel Kiper waffles on, was that good for my career or bad for my career? If I would do it again, would I be out on Jimmy Clausen? But Louis Riddick doesn't have to do anything about Cam Ward. He could just say canned things about the number 1 overall pick and, check that box and move on. But
when he made himself a Cam guy a long time ago, right? Because he's given this rant. Like, you do the rant he did on Buck's show yesterday once, and then you have that again. Like you said, everything's on tape. You have that tape. You clip it, you pull it, you put it in a box, put it to the side. It's like, this is I'm a Cam guy tape. So then in the future, if Cam's awesome, I can be like, look, I was a Cam guy. Wait, timestamp March 11th, 2025. But to do it over and over and over and over, there's no benefit to that unless you just believe it in the bottom of your heart.
Here's the other thing too, because it's not like, and this is like an inside media aspect of this that I think gives it more weight. So why I said all the weight is because a lot of these things about Louis Riddick, and I was talking about Cam Ward, keep stacking up. Here's another one. Louis Riddick didn't have to go on Buck's show. There was no affiliation with 104.5 The Zone and Louis Riddick and ESPN Radio. 104.5 The Zone is a Fox Sports Radio national affiliate.
Right. Speaking of things that's bad for your career, going on Buck's show, am I right?
No, I mean, yeah, right. So,
got him.
No, but but no, but there is no like obligation. Like if you were an ESPN Radio affiliate, which Zach and I started our careers at,
right,
back in the day, you have easier access to ESPN talent. It's in a big address book, or you can say, let's and ESPN Radio show bookers are more likely to give an ESPN affiliate access to an ESPN talent because it's internet, right?
Like Buck and Mina Kimes kind of deal.
Exactly.
Like,
right. But not like this isn't like this is. I don't know how they booked it. I can probably just text Lucas and Buck and be like, hey, how'd you get Louis Riddick? Oh, they texted him, got his number from somebody. And he jumped on because why? Because he wants to talk about Cam Ward.
Yes. And you're right. That is an inside media thing, but it totally is. There are two really good ways. No, there are three really good ways to book somebody, whether it's an interview or it's like a feature or whatever. Step one is just be their friend. That's the hardest way because you have to have proximity to them. But if you're friends with somebody,
and that takes time.
Right. That takes time and effort and being a good person and all those things. The other way is affiliation, right? And they feel they have a business obligation to give you the time of day. And then the third way is, and this is sometimes the easiest, is ask them to talk about something that they're dying to talk about. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's, I mean, as somebody that has done a lot of interviews, and that's kind of like my lane is like interviews and relationships in the media business. That is, in my experience, probably the easiest way to get somebody that you have no, like, there are people that I have some affiliation to that I can I could be like, well, I could say something that makes them feel obligated to talk about it because we have this connection and we're friends with this person, mutuals, whatever. But sometimes it's just, you see a tweet and you're like, holy crap, Nate Tice is going hard in the paint on this topic, or they just wrote a 7,000 word manifesto article on this topic. I bet they're dying to talk about it. And you ask them and they're like, let's do it. Heck yeah.
Like, when? I'll come over. Like right now.
Right. I'll come over. I'll fly down there.
Yesterday was June 17th. Like, Louis Riddick could be doing a million other things on June 17th on a random Tuesday, besides spending 20 minutes on Zoom with Buck Rising and Lucas Panzica.
Some people would see it as offensive. Like, another inside media thing. When you get asked to do a spot in the dead of summer, it's like, oh, so I was the break glass in case of emergency guy. Like, oh, they couldn't bother to have me on in November, but they want me on in June.
Well, but again, like, I think that's why I say all the way. So back to our poll, because we got to get to some results. Poll question of today's show. How much weight does Louis Riddick's strong conviction on Cam Ward hold to you? All of the weight, which is where I voted, is 11%. 37% is a lot of weight where Easton voted.
Okay.
Little weight.
Nearly 50% are a lot or all.
Yes. Little weight is 36% and none is 15%.
How much was a little weight again?
Little weight was 36. Lot of weight was 37.
So, okay. So a lot is barely the leader.
By 1 point. And then in last place is where I'm at all the way. More people are saying no weight, none. Don't care what Louis Riddick says about Cam Ward. Doesn't matter. Doesn't move the needle for me one bit. Because MB asked, like, Austin, I guess what I'm asking is, are you saying after hearing Louis Riddick's comments, you're more convinced that Cam Ward will work out as a franchise quarterback? It makes me more comfortable. Absolutely. It makes me feel better that a national analyst is sticking his neck out in Nashville, right? Like, we talk about market size and all this kind of stuff. Like, Louis Riddick going on in Nashville, complaint, like Kyle Brandt carrying the flag for the Titans on NFL Network about Cam Ward and saying, if the Titans make the Super Bowl with Cam Ward, it'll be the first Super Bowl flex at a prime time, right? Like, that hilarious joke, right, but like kind of not wrong. And so it's because of what they're going to bat for and where they're going to bat for it and how, that makes me feel more confident in Cam Ward. And Edward adds, Riddick has been more right than wrong. His latest bingo call was Jaden Daniels. I'd say he knows what he's saying. Absolutely. And I saw you commented, or you favorited a comment too.
Yeah, I heard Hoshi says, Easton, you have more proximity to Ward than Riddick. Now I do, but up until
a month ago.
But up until the end of April,
Up until
absolutely not.
after he was drafted.
Right. So
Yeah.
my proximity is, and we talked a lot about my feelings on my initial feelings on him from the first couple OTAs practices and mini camp practices, but I've seen him in 5 practices. I've spoken to Cam, me talking to him, us eye to eye, communicating with one another 3 times in my life so far. I'll talk to him a lot more soon, but 5 practices and 3 conversations does not a football Jesus make. I'm not in on that yet myself, but these guys that did, like Louis Riddick and these folks that spent the fall and maybe even earlier in his college career throughout the pre-draft process talking to, that's a level of exposure that I haven't had yet. I will soon, and we'll see. I'll get the luxury of being able to be exposed to him while we're literally seeing whether he can play NFL football or not.
Right.
So
So Chris Jump says Louis Riddick trying to become the next Titans GM. No, and that's where we're going to head next because Louis Riddick.
I bet Louis hates this, man, because he gets this all the time. You know it? For years now, it's been, he's gunning for a GM job. Is he, though? I feel like he's got a pretty good job at ESPN. Probably pretty cushy.
He's interviewed for jobs, so I think he wants one. He would love to have one.
Yeah, but I don't think he operates in media with the sole intent of trying to earn an NFL GM job.
Because Louis Riddick said a lot of really high-level things about Mike Borgonzi, the current Titans GM. And so, no, he's not trying to steal Mike Borgonzi's job, especially after you hear what Louis Riddick said here in a second. But the Bone and Joint Institute is where you should turn. boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. When an injury happens in life, make sure you turn to the Bone and Joint Institute in Franklin off I-65 and Highway 96, next door to Williams Medical Center. Injuries as an adult are just major, massive inconveniences that throw off your life. They get in the way of everything: work, family, social life, whatever it is, exercise, keeping yourself healthy. So stay off the sidelines and get back into it with the Bone and Joint Institute. They can take care of you like they have for me several times the last couple of years. As I get older, more injuries pop up, old injuries pop up, and get a little worse sometimes. So check them out if you need them, boneandjointtn.org.
There's so much more to say. First, make sure, as I choke on the air in my office, apparently, make sure you've liked the show. Make sure that you have left a 5-star Google review. Those are the 2 ways to be a friend of the show this morning. We appreciate you doing both of those things. Please do them right now while you're thinking about it, and you'll be our best friends forever, pretty much. That's how it works.
That is how it works. Okay, Louis Riddick goes and talks a lot about Mike Borgonzi and the belief that he has in Mike Borgonzi, where he came from, what he has in Cam Ward, and how NFL teams typically screw something up like this. Here's Louis Riddick again from Buck Rising Show on 104.5 The Zone.
Mike knows, in particular, that being Borgonzi, where he just came from, the amount of time he spent there with Andy and Brett Reed and Brett Veach, and why Patrick was as successful as he was, going beyond his own physical skills and his mental makeup, and how to go about trying to foster that kind of environment for the guy, for a quarterback, so he can then just take off and become all he can be. I mean, there isn't much more that you can really get in terms of a GM who has seen the development arc of right now who is considered to be the most talented quarterback maybe we've seen in the past 7, 8, 9 years, 10 years. So if they just let him execute what his vision is in terms of, I'm trying to copy and put together and follow the same kind of blueprint that Brett and Andy followed in Kansas City, then they have a chance. Because you're right, and I've been talking about this since, when we got into TV back in 2013 at ESPN, about the fact that the development and utilization phase of player development, if you're talking about, scouting and information gathering, and then valuation and selection, and then development and implementation. Those are the 3 tripods of team building. Development and utilization. That's the most important phase. Because, look, all scouts obviously think that they can scout better than the next guy and they can see shit that other guys can't, blah, blah, blah. It's not true. What's really true is, and how you can really get a competitive advantage, is when you get them under your roof. Now, what are you doing? And so you're right. Some organizations have a history of screwing it up, churning over coaches, churning over play callers, churning through players, owners getting involved, team presidents getting involved, team president's wife gets involved, the man on the street gets involved, everyone's listening to everyone's opinion, and next thing you know, you don't have a philosophical direction. In Tennessee, if you just, it's the greatest team sport in the world, right? It's the most popular sport, obviously, in our country by far, because and everyone's so invested. There's so much information, and everyone has access to all this behind the scenes information. And what happens is there's so many people who have so many things to say that sometimes the people who are in charge become so distracted and listen to so much crap that they forget why they were put in that spot in the first place, which is 9 times out of 10, because they're competent and they know how to get, what it takes to get there. If you just let a guy like Mike Borgonzi do what he's capable of doing, what he has seen done when he was in Kansas City, you have a chance.
So that I want to ask you, Easton, what's the number one thing that stands out about that clip from Louis Riddick? And once again on 104.5 The Zone yesterday with Buck Rising. The thing that stood out to me is, and something that kind of clicked with me with a light bulb process. I don't know what time. It was definitely, obviously, after Borgonzi was hired in January, and they set up the whole Brinker, Borgonzi, Callahan triumvirate at the top, was of looking at where those three people have been for the longest in their career, and the quarterbacks that they watched come in the league as a draft pick and turned into a MVP level candidate or MVP straight up. Like Chad Brinker watched Aaron Rodgers become an MVP, right? Brian Callahan hasn't seen Joe Burrow win an MVP yet, but saw this guy take him to the Super Bowl in year 2, right? And then obviously with Borgonzi and Patrick Mahomes, they know what the franchise quarterback looks like beyond just the skill set and how they throw the ball, how they carry themselves, everything. And so that's what really, I think, Louis Riddick reinforced in me, is that Borgonzi knows what it's supposed to look like. Now, can he recreate it? That's
right.
Way easier said than done, but that's what stood out to me.
Yeah, that's what stood out to me as well. Just the fact that these guys know. They have been there. They understand what it looks like, what it feels like. And it is kind of, it's back to that intangible thing, man. Just that it about it, that it feels right. It clicks. There's something about it that just is exciting in a way that you rarely get this level of excitement for a guy. And I know that, we're talking about the people that have had proximity to Cam feel that way. I know that when the Titans began their journey to having proximity with Cam, it's how they felt. And it's why they became so compelled, so singularly minded about Cam Ward being the number 1 pick, no matter what, very quickly after having exposure to him, is because he's just got that thing that you can't manufacture. You can't, for the most part, you can't buy. You just have to have it fall into your lap sometimes. And they think that they have that. So I think it's really exciting.
Yeah. And so a couple comments too on the negative side or the pessimistic side, which are not wrong. But MB says, what I didn't like about Riddick's comments is that he didn't acknowledge Alex Smith in Mahomes' development and where is the Alex on the Titans, which is true. And then Darren comes in and says, Mahomes had freakish athletic abilities, one of the greatest offensive minds in coaching football, veteran mentorship, and some amazing team talent to start with. The situation matters. The situation does matter, and Mahomes had to sit and wait for a full year.
I think this is overrated, by the way.
Really?
I think the whole Alex Smith of it all. Yeah. Like you can't convince me that Patrick Mahomes, the guy that we've seen do what he's done in his career, would not have been eventually the guy that he's become if it weren't for sitting behind Alex Smith for a year. Did it help? No, I know that's not what you're saying, but it's something that people talk about. Like, well, if he hadn't had the situation that he had and sat behind Alex and like that, I'm with you that at the beginning of careers, we tend to break good quarterback prospects more often than we create them because it's really hard. But I think that's with guys that are kind of like more fringe in my mind, guys that can be good NFL quarterbacks, but only in the right situation kind of deal, which is most quarterbacks for what it's worth. Patrick Mahomes is one of one. He's the greatest quarterback we've ever seen.
But even then,
he was always going to become the greatest quarterback.
But you know what he wasn't? He wasn't pick one, round one.
Right.
And he wasn't seen that way. So I think that's the Chiefs situation that I think most forget. The reason why Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith is because the Chiefs viewed Mahomes as the highest ceiling of quarterback talent, but floor was not ready. Alex Smith had them in the playoffs. They had to move up from 27th overall to 10th overall to draft Patrick Mahomes. That was also a stick your neck out and either become a Hall of Famer or get fired as a head coach or GM move. Mm-hmm. And it worked for both Reed and Veach and others in the Chiefs front office. But they viewed Patrick Mahomes as he needs a year to sit before he even showed up. And he just was better than they expected earlier. But still, Alex Smith was able to have them push for a playoff spot in that 1 year anyway. So, so look, there's a lot of good things that come out of that. I think, NB also brings out, I loved how Riddick pointed out that a lot of these owners or just football people, not necessarily owners, but GMs, front office members, point to guys like Schefter who really don't know what happens. And I think that's the distracted part that Riddick is bringing up. It's that everybody's paranoid and everybody's concerned about what they're being thought of outside of the building rather than trusting what got them in the building in the first place. And I think that's just human nature.
Yeah, MB says Alex Smith taught him how to break down film, take the pressure off of him to perform right away, and serve as the bridge between coaching and player. I'm not saying Alex Smith's presence and allowing Patrick to sit for a year did not help accelerate his timeline. Of course it did. But this idea that Patrick Mahomes was not eventually going to turn into the Patrick Mahomes we now know, the greatest quarterback talent to ever walk the earth. No, not buying that.
So if you want to say that, then the Titans have Brandon Allen.
Sure.
No, if you taught him on a breakdown,
I hear what you're saying. It's just
that's why Brandon Allen's here. That's why Tim Boyle's here. Tim Boyle's a good game planner. That's the whole point. That's why they got signed, because they're good in the classroom.
Right. So I guess all I'm saying is the existence of Alex Smith on that roster, I agree, certainly accelerated, I think, his greatness. And obviously Andy Reid's a big part of this too. I saw somebody mention that a minute ago. But I don't think that it made his greatness. I don't think that it's the reason why he reached the ceiling that he reached. I think that he is a singular talent that was just always going to be that guy. I think he always was.
God, this guy Henny on YouTube is unhinged recently.
Oh, all caps guy?
All caps guy who is just flat out wrong. Just really strange comments from Henny, but we don't have time to waste on that. We don't have to. So, all these backhanded shots that I'm saying from Choma. I thought my Vince Young comparison was really good. When talking about the it factor, right? Having the it factor that you can't define.
Right.
So,
it's true.
Are you ready for some trivia?
I am ready for some trivia.
All right, trivia time to wrap up this Wednesday show. Here we go. Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process. Go see them in Lebanon, online, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Payne Bone will help you out. Find the new ride and save some money doing it. Easton, are you ready?
I am ready. You didn't wait for me to say ready.
No, I was predicting the second pregnant pause threw me. So
hopefully we are a little smoother with that than that.
That's okay. All right. Here we go. Trivia time.
No baseball in here. I like that.
I didn't even. We do have Stanley Cup in there. That wrapped up. I do know that the Panthers won back to back.
Yep. So, let's see if the theory applies today. If the NBA or NHL has to do with one of the four teams that were in or currently are in the finals, I bet you they do. Over under 4.5 minutes. Okay.
Ooh, man.
And that number keeps moving up because we've been on a cold streak.
Moving up or back?
They're giving us more and more time. The books are because they don't trust us to do it quickly anymore.
All right, NFL around the horn and finish in the middle with celebrity mashup. Let's do it.
Justin says you guys are screwed. All right, we'll see.
Hey, you're a part of the team, Justin. You're screwed
NFL
too.
at running back, Chris Thompson totaled more receiving than rushing yards while playing for this NFC franchise from 2013 to 2019. Chris Thompson, man, who did he play for? I should know this,
Thompson.
and I'm embarrassed that I don't. Is it there? Was it Washington?
Oh yeah, it's Washington.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Which during that time they became the Skins football team.
Joseph Conrad's 1899 novella Heart of Darkness was the inspiration for this Francis Ford Coppola directed 1979 war film starring Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall, and Martin Sheen. I know it. What's the name of it? I know
War film.
I know it.
79.
Chat's gonna say it and it's gonna bother me. Golly, what's its name? It's like it's the kind of name
Red Dead Redemption?
No, Apocalypse Now. I was about to say it's the kind of name you hear that you don't expect to be a war film, but it is a war film. Television. This actor received 13 Emmy noms across 3 shows for playing the role of Fraser Crane from 88 to 04. Fraser Crane.
Who was Fraser? God, the guy's face is
like the old school comic Fraser?
Yeah, Fraser.
Not a Fraser fan. I don't know. 13 Emmy noms.
Oh, what's his name? Kelly Grammer.
Is it Kelly Grammer? All right. That
one. Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey. Sorry. Okay. Cool. Here we go. Released in 2015. What was the name of the 4th and final installment of this live action Alvin and the Chipmunks movies? So we had Alvin and the Chipmunks, Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Squeakquel, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Chipwrecked, I think are the first 3. I did not know there was a 4th one. What is the first? If I just put in
Chipwrecked
Road Chip, it's totally Road Chip. Okay.
Oh, good cheat code. I like that.
The system used in numerous music and TV shows. This band is best known for their 1990 song "Unbelievable."
Yeah, unbelievable.
Isn't that song?
Boop, 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 boop.
Who is this band? What band is that? I don't know. Alvin and the Chipmunks puberty. That's crazy.
That's the 5th.
Unbelievable. Who sings that? EMF? Is that a thing? It's a thing. Should we go with it?
Yeah.
Nice. Chain restaurants in 1979. What? This sit-down chain introduced a Jack Daniel's Glaze.
Fridays.
TGI. I've been to that place maybe one time in my life. Before becoming a 2-time Stanley Cup champion and Conn Smythe winner, Matthew Tkachuk made his NHL debut with this team in 2016.
Ooh,
Tkachuk, was that the Lightning?
I feel like Tkachuk was Blackhawks.
Or is it Blackhawks? Yeah, actually, I think you're right.
Let's wait.
He's played for a bunch of teams right now. What's this? The Senators? Really? I would never have guessed.
Calgary Flames?
2 people. Oh, okay. All right.
Calgary. Yeah, Flames then. Calgary,
not Calgary. During this 2011 NBA Finals, the Mavs started 3 players who made all-star teams prior. Dirk Nowitzki, the kid, and this forward.
Number 7.
All-star teams.
Wait. Sean Marion? I was thinking somebody else, but this could be Sean Marion years.
I'm waiting for somebody in the chat to confirm.
I think Sean Marion. I was thinking somebody else.
Michael Finley?
Yeah, I was thinking Michael Finley, but I think it's Sean Marion.
Nice. All right, here we go. That is Sandra Bullock on the inside.
John Hamm.
And John Hamm.
Boom!
Huge.
Come on.
Is it not just wait? Is it
no
H?
Come on. We get the over-under hitting.
Hang on. It won't let me. Golly. Oh! It's too low. No, we're good. We got it. We took the under. We took the under. That was the easiest celeb mashup we've had in a long time. Give us more like true cookie cutter celebs like that. That's way easier. None of these
Orlando? Over.
None of these random 23-year-old girls from Chicago that we think only Sam Phelan knows.
That was great. Good job.
That was great.
Team.
That's our best one in a month. I mean, it's been a long time since we had a decent 9 for 9.
I mean, Orlando says we're 2 for 10 on the total.
No. 2 and 10. The under is 2 and 10. All right, we gotta get those numbers up.
Hey, when we get it one day at a time, we got Ryan and I can tank it tomorrow, make it 2 to 11.
Please don't.
I mean, that's not the goal, but it's probably
I might tune in and just help from the chat.
That would be fantastic.
I have to. The numbers.
That would be a great team weight. You could do that, like Ryan. You could do that too.
That's legal.
Ryan and I have too many crossover interests that they would just boxes us in as a team.
Joshua, thanks for the reminder here.
No, because today, right? Today is when you have the house to yourself.
Starting today, so I will either watch it tonight or tomorrow night.
All right,
but it will be watched by Friday.
I also
morning.
have not sent you your.
I was about to say I can't watch it until you tell me what I have to.
I know. I've been distracted. I'll work on the worksheet today. You'll have the worksheet today by the end of the day.
Friday morning, be there. We got tickets to give away and we got movies to review.
Yeah, and if you have a suggestion on what should be on Easton's worksheet for his movie reviews, not just about Remember the Titans, but just a question or a topic or a category for his movie review worksheets. It'd be great.
Yep. All righty.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Successful show, right? I'd say so.
I'd say so.
Very good trivia. We'll see you guys tomorrow on a Thursday. Buck Rising live tonight for A to Z Sports Prime Time. We'll catch you later. Appreciate it as always.